right, what's up? It's me, Dr. Girdwood, and my guest,
Roy Shavers, Mr. Be Great.
I shouldn't even say guest because we kind of do it together. And I'm not going to be the host of this, but we'll kick it off, see how it goes. What we're going to do is we're going to talk about higher education topics. And time of the year right now is summer. Mm-hmm. So we just got to kind of figure out how we can support the students best this summer.
Yeah.
You know, we're going through a lot of orientations right now. I think UM-Flint has about 8 orientations. I think we've been through about 6.
But we got 2 more.
Yeah, the 2 last August ones. How has your experience been with the orientation so far? What have you seen with the students that have been coming in? Any differences from last year or prior years? Or is it just another iteration of the same thing?
A little bit of both, but most what I see is the students that come towards the end is a little bit still unsure about college. The ones that I see that come in the begin with is the ones that's like most excited about college. So I don't know. That's the biggest thing that I see, and then it slows down. Like the numbers is smaller towards you get towards the end of the last few orientations.
That's true. We had like twice as many for the first couple, and I think we're down to maybe 40 for this last orientation. So we're gonna kind of work this year on just instilling this long-term goal, long-term planning, so that even students in their first week of their first classes know that in 4 or 5 years, you're gonna be on the floor at McLaren in the emergency room, or something like that. So I think waiting till the last minute for orientation is almost like a day-to-day kind of mentality. Oh, I'm gonna do this today, oh, I'm gonna do that today. But if you had planned out orientation during your junior year of high school, you might be thinking, I'm gonna go to the first one, I'm gonna go to the second one. But if you're just only thinking about orientation that last week of high school, yeah, you're gonna go to the last one.
Yeah.
You know, gotta be thinking about that long-term plan.
But not saying that the last one is bad, but at the same time, I mean, you don't get a lot of the classes, the times that you want. You might even miss some of the classes. They might be all closed up. So, you know, you get in the bottom of the barrel of, you know, when it comes to class selection. That's the worst thing about going to the last orientation. So,
you know, it's funny too, because that's so true. And I compare it to when we were going to school. And the bottom of the barrel, the last class offerings now, not gonna lie, is online.
Yeah.
So you got a lot of students coming in and they're like, you know, fix me up, let's do this schedule. I want it during my time, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. or whatever. And then they get to the classes like all online. And they're like, that's not what I wanted. But too late, you know, you missed all the good in-person, real active on-campus classes. But I was thinking back in the day, for us, it wasn't online, it was the 8 a.m. So if you wait till the last minute, you get to 7:30 a.m., sometimes 8 a.m. Friday classes or whatever. But now it's just like you show up late, you're about to get an all online schedule.
Yeah. Which is to me is a little bit more difficult to navigate. The online classes is a little bit more difficult because you don't have that face-to-face interaction. So it's like the teacher is really behind the scenes. You don't have that person standing up in front of you talking, you know, every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or every Tuesday, Thursday. But that was, I don't know, that's what I loved about, you know, when we were in school during that time. But fast forward to now, you know, some kids like that, but it's hard to, I definitely say it's hard to manage all online classes, especially like 12 credit hours. Definitely gotta have a routine down pat to keep up with all of that stuff.
And a good balance, you know, like some of the students will think, oh, I gotta work a lot, so I'm gonna put all my classes on Tuesdays and Thursdays. That's fine, put 2 or 3 classes on Tuesday and Thursday and maybe take 1 or 2 online, you know, so you can still balance it good. And I always say to students, if you're gonna take an online class, mention routine, I'm like, come to campus, sit in an empty classroom and pretend like you're taking that class in person. That'll get get you an A. But if you think you're going to pass the class in your dorm room, in your bed or something like that,
Yeah.
or on your cell phone or something,
Yeah.
that's not.
Worst to me, worst place to study is the dorm or in the bedroom. Like you want to be in. I'm not gonna say an uncomfortable setting, but you want to be in a setting where it forces you to have to study. You know, some people can do it though, but me personally, I never could get nothing done at home. So
You got to even turn your cell phone off. Like you got to really commit to focusing.
yeah.
Now you mentioned 12 credits, so I want to get into the credit thing here in a minute, but I want to ask you if you remember your college orientation, because I do. And this is the big difference between, well, there's several differences between my orientation. But one of those, when you talk about coming to these late ones, we didn't have the option. And this is why orientation back in the day had value, or at least I was scared to miss it. So now all these students are coming into this last one. Oh, I missed it. I had to reschedule this or that. I remember when I went to my freshman orientation, if you missed it, you couldn't go to school. They would not let you go. You had to show up. So I remember I woke up, my orientation probably started at 10 a.m. I woke up, I remember this, like 9:50 a.m. on like a Saturday, run up the stairs. My grandma's there, my mom. I go, somebody's got to give me the orientation, because if I don't get there in 10 minutes, they're not going to let me go to college. I was like so scared. But now it's like, if you miss it, just go to the next one.
Yeah.
There's no like penalty. There's no skin in the game for the student.
Well, mine was a little bit different. I was one of them kids. I didn't know where I was going to school. At the time, I ran track and I was waiting for some offers, as far as that, but I couldn't pass the ACT. So I was visiting my sister in Philadelphia at the time, and then I got a call from the Eastern coach, and he was like, "Where are you going to school?" And I'm like, "I don't know yet." He was like, "Well, I got you in." And it was like 2 weeks before school about to start. I never visited the school or any of that. So like when you talk about 8 a.m. classes, I was trying to get out of that, but that was all that was left. But the counselor at the time told me, if you want to graduate in 4 years, you're going to pretty much take 8 a.m. classes every semester in order to get out of here in 4 years. But I don't know, I ain't let that discourage me from, college or anything like that. But I ain't have no plan I had a plan to go to college, but I didn't know where I was actually going. So,
or what you were going to major in. So many students coming out, and it's like they think they know their major, their career. It's like, no, you could change your major 100 times.
Yeah.
You got to explore.
Yeah. That's the good thing about gen ed. I like about gen ed is it gives you a variety of different classes coming in, and I don't think a lot of kids explore. And what I mean by when I'm talking about explore is like really challenging yourself to take a class that you may not see no interest in, like even sociology. I didn't even know what sociology was at the time when I was.
Same. I never took one in undergrad.
Yeah.
I didn't even know what it was.
Yeah. So I don't know. I learned from gen ed. I learned some of the things that I could see myself actually doing.
And then I hear a lot of students say they want to help people, or they're interested in this or that, and they feel like there's only one major that goes with that. Like in my class this fall, I got a lot of criminal justice majors. But it's like, you don't have to be a criminal justice major to do a lot of those jobs. Like you could have a political science, sociology, all kinds of degrees, social work. But they think because the name is in the name, criminal justice, they think that's the major that they got to go into. Same nursing, they think, oh, I got to be a nurse. I'm like, no, you could be CEO of the hospital if you really want to help a lot of people. You don't got to be a nurse. I mean, nurses are important. We need them. But there's just like so many other things you could be doing.
And the same track for pre-med. You got a lot of students coming here talking about being pre-med, but that's the first thing that I say is like, you don't have to go that route. You could go this other route where it has a lot of elective space, like a sociology. You can do psychology. You can do political science, criminal. I don't know. You could do a blend of different majors and take the classes that you need to apply to medical school, opposed to just.
Plus, I used to be on a med school selection committee, like an admissions committee for a medical school that we would select who was getting in. Pre-med's not even a major.
Yeah.
It's not even a thing. You don't graduate with a bachelor's in pre-med, or like the medical schools aren't looking for a pre-med. But it's like, rarely does anyone tell that to a student.
Yeah. You got to choose something.
Yes. I also knew, I'm not going to say this on camera, but I knew the easiest pre-med major. I'll tell you off camera. I knew that when I was at another school, but I'll be like, you want to do pre-med? Take this. It's the easiest pre-med major. But again, it wasn't called pre-med. It was a specific major within the medical field. That was very appealing to the med schools, but it wasn't too rigorous. I mean, it's harder than my major, so I'm not going to hate on it, but it wasn't like, astrophysics or whatever.
Yeah.
Now let's tap into that credit question, because you were talking about getting out in 4 years, taking 8 a.m. classes, and I had to take Friday classes. I was taking 8 a.m., I was taking Friday, and I still got out in 5 years. But now they're having students take 12 credits as a full-time student, and if you add it up, that'll at least get you like 5 years. So the way it works to get out in 4 years, you need at least 120 credits. 120 divided by 4 years, that's 30 credits per year. If you take 2 semesters, that's 15 credits per semester. So that's 5 classes will get you out in 4 years. They're putting students into 4 classes. Do you think I'm not saying what's better or worse, because I don't like to judge, but do you think students know that or realize that taking 4 classes is going to put you to 5-6 years? You think they know?
It will put you to 5-6 years if you don't do no summers.
Summer classes.
So if you take summer classes, you can do 12, 24, and then you take 6 over the summer. That's 30 credits,
And you can do that and get out in 4 if you passed every class.
Yeah. So, with no mistakes. Yeah. So, it's life, and things gonna happen. But I don't know. Realistically, trying to get out in 4 years it's kind of difficult. I ain't gonna say nowadays, but I know here where we're at, where we got the traditional student that actually works. They actually work a job that's 20, maybe 30 hours a week. So managing 12 with that is a little bit more challenging. So you may have to take 9 one semester, but how do you make it up in order to still hit the 30 mark? You may not hit the 30 mark. So, it's hit or miss, with how you manage going to school now, opposed to, a student that attends the main campus. They're more on the traditional path. So.
Yep. Traditional, even with the fall and winter semesters, where it's like students here, we get a lot of part-time students. I feel like the mentality just needs to be year-round. Like part-time's fine, but I feel like we just need to start thinking about college just like it's year-round. I mean, you could take breaks and stuff in the summer, go on a vacation if you got money, but I feel like year-round's the kind of the way to go. That would avoid summer melt too.
Yeah. Breakdown.
Yeah. So let's see, it's August 1st today. We got about 3 weeks to the first semester.
Yep, August 25th, I believe, is the first day of classes.
So my boss was just telling our whole team, kind of, that these first 2 weeks of August, maybe take it a little soft because we're about to ramp up into the school year. That's good advice because I tend to go hard all the time. But what do you think is best for students right now? First week of August, 3 weeks before school starts. Do you think it's like maybe take a break from everything for the first week of August, then ramp up for school? Do you think it's better to just take vacation all the way up to the first day of school? When do you think students should start like locking in? Or should they have done that a long time ago?
I mean, it kind of depends on you as a whole, you know. But I mean, you have to prepare at some point. I mean, like, I think maybe 2 weeks out, you should start thinking about what these classes gonna look like. You know, at that point, some teachers are then sent out some syllabus because you are already registered in the class. The book, you know, you should been trying to purchase the book. My little secret that I've been using the last couple of semesters is I've been actually going to the library and checking out the book from there, or checking there first to see if they have the book. If they don't, then I do the interloan library. Like, I had taken a law class, and the law book cost about $300.
Oh, yeah.
I did an interloan library. They checked all the schools around Michigan to see if they had that book, and I got it. I didn't pay for it. But yeah, to get ready for the semester, you should be looking for the books. I don't know. Syllabus, looking at the syllabus, that's pretty much how I attack my semester.
It's a good point too, because it makes me think you don't need to be doing a lot of work right now. Like, getting a book is one thing. Mm-hmm. It's not like 20 hours of homework or nothing like that. School should be on their mind. They should be envisioning their future, kind of what's going to play out for the semester. A couple logistical things, like get the book, get the syllabus. So it's not a lot of work, but they should be thinking about it, I feel. Thinking about what's coming up and planning it out. I give my students a lot of credit because they already reached out to me about their work schedules. Because I got like 12 student staff members. Mm-hmm. They've been emailing me this past week, Dr. Girdwood, what's my work schedule going to look like? Because they're already putting it up against their classes. Mm-hmm. And I give them a lot of credit because they're thinking more future than I am. I'm like, shoot, I haven't made your work schedule yet. I better get on that, you know. But they're already thinking time management, which is really critical. Already a month, 2 months in advance.
But that's the biggest thing. Like, I feel like that's one of the things that I've seen since I've been here, is some students lack the communication with the actual professors. So I highly recommend that you communicate with your professor, letting the professor know what you got going on, you know. Like, we all human, you know, we all got some stuff going on in our lives. And, you know, I expect you to be here every class, but things happen, you know what I mean? But if you don't communicate that to someone, then what? You know, you put 100%. Yourself in a bad situation.
Communicate and get out front.
Yeah.
Because it's like, if you got stuff going on in your life right now, you got to let the professor know.
But, I mean, some people, you know, they private. You know, they keep they personal stuff to them, you know, they own, until it hit the fan, you know, and that's where I feel like you don't have to tell them everything, but you can tell them, you know, I got a family situation right now that I need to attend to, so I may miss class. You don't have to go into specific details about it, but just communicate, you know.
Yep. And most professors are sympathetic. Obviously, if you're going through stuff as a student, you can't miss every single class.
Yeah, you gotta go. You know? Yeah.
But there's a balancing act you can play.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now, one last thing before we wrap this up. You want to plug your events you're going to do this semester?
No, we could do it. We could do it on the next one.
A little cliffhanger. Well, Roy, thanks for sitting down with me today in the Alvin D. Loving Cultural Center. And hope this first episode, we don't have a title yet.
Yeah, well, we got y'all next week.